Trevor's agent, Rick Thurman, former Padre executives, executives of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Florida Marlins who are here today. We thank them and thank them for giving us Trevor Hoffman. Thank you, Marlins. And by the way, thank you to this present Padre leadership, which said, why do this years from now? It's Trevor Hoffman. Do it now. Jeff Morad, Tom Garfinkel, and Jed Hoyer. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's get started with these players from his past. Trev, I gotta have you only one place to meet these guys. Where else? On the mound, on the rubber. Let's get started. Trevor Hoffman, this is your life. Our first group of guests instrumental in shaping this young athlete that Greg and Glenn were talking about to an eventual major league superstar, for heaven's sakes. Trevor's high school basketball coach at Savannah High School in Anaheim. Here's Tom Gregory. After finishing high school, no offers to play college ball for Trev, so he went on to play at Cypress Community College. Please welcome the Cypress Community College coach, Scott Pickler, right here. After 2 years of success at Cypress, to the University of Arizona, play some shortstop there for former Wildcat head coach Jerry Kindle. And by the way, this was no average team that he was the starting shortstop on. They had a future major leaguer who threw a eventual no-hitter by the name of Scott Erickson, and as good a first baseman with a glove that I ever saw, J.T. Snow, right here. Before we knew it, Jerry, Scott, JT, they knew what kind of a guy this was, what kind of a player he was. Let's go to the videotape and the boards once again for a clip of that fun-loving kid there at the University of Arizona in Tucson.
Hi, Dan Harding. This is Trevor Hoffman telling you live on Channel 4 KVOA, and excuse me, Dan.
You're known on this team as a comedian, also a very good impersonator of Bobby Knight. One real quick one.
Coach Knight, play defense with your hands at your feet. Great. Years of experience underneath the television camera. You've done well at being a politician on the air. Thank you, Trent. Thank you.
Following U of A, drafted in the '89 draft, 11th round by the Cincinnati Reds. Had a great arm. They thought, how this impacted baseball. Let's make him into a pitcher. So thank you to his former pitching coach, Mike Griffin, for that amazing decision.
Trevor was our shortstop in 1990 in Charleston, West Virginia. We saw a strong arm from Trevor and a great athlete that Trevor was. We made a phone call to our farm director that year at about the halfway point during the season, deciding that maybe we should try to give Trevor a chance on the mound because of his arm strength. And I believe that his first mound or side mound was in Greensboro, North Carolina. And after about the 5th pitch, my mouth dropped to the floor. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I saw a tremendous athlete take to pitching like I have never seen before. Just on his delivery was so smooth and so quiet, and everything just flowed so freely that I made a phone call back saying I think we may have something here.
Yeah, what a decision. Then in '92, Trevor taken by these Florida Marlins in the expansion draft when they began in Major League Baseball a year later. 28 games, 2 saves, and then changing coasts in '93. And remember in that trade how the big mouth guy on Channel 8, and a lot of others thought, oh, bad trade, and we picked on this guy. Thank you Thank you, former General Manager, now Padre, Director of Operations International, for making that trade. Thank you, Randy Smith. He threw hard back then. He was mid-90s, but as you remember, hurt his shoulder, needed another pitch. Another great trade that Randy Smith made, which was kind of poo-hooed at the time. But this guy, who was acquired by from Atlanta by Randy, taught Trevor to throw the changeup. Thank you, Donnie Elliott. Of all the influences, I'm not sure who has the most courage and the most character, but they've been inseparable. His former bullpen coach, who was a marvelous player at the University of Minnesota, and a brain tumor ended his career, but not his leadership and character. Here's Mark Merrill. Well, I mentioned character and integrity. That pretty well sums it up. He flew more missions in combat than I've taken flights. He's been a mentor to Trevor, and by gosh, he's been a mentor to me in my 32 years of his 39. A great Yankee, a great Marine, a great Padre. Here's Jerry Coleman. Padre pitching coach from the '98 World Series team and National League champions. You couldn't have him as a pitching coach and not get tougher. Here's Stu. Dave Stewart. And in case you wonder how Trevor got better and how the organization can pick up guys like Langbrink and Adams and Bell and make them become some of the top relievers in all of baseball, here's why. Pitching coach Darren Bosley, and speaking of courage and toughness, bullpen coach Darryl Ackerfeld. And the same goes for a former pitching coach with his input, the 2010 Manager of the Year in the National League, skipper Buddy Black. Let's get to some of Trevor's catchers and how important they are. And you know them well as former Padres. Brian Johnson and Gold Glove winner Brad Osmus. As a rookie, came up in the second half of the '08 season, Trevor's final season, and caught him and learned from him and had a really nice night last night. Here's Mickey Hundley. Hundreds of teammates through the years. That '96 team that clinched it against the Dodgers in that final weekend in LA. The guy who got the big knock, the double, Chris Gwynn. Aki Centraco, pitcher Joey Hamilton, and a Gold Glove center fielder as good as we ever had, Steve Finley. Another great teammate from the '96 team. There's never been a greater leadoff man in the history of baseball. He's in the Hall of Fame. came that amazing year of '98. 53 out of 54 saves and save opportunities. A 1.48, and took his club to the division, the National League Championship. What a pitching staff for 98 wins. On that staff with Trevor, Donnie Wall right here, and Brian Bowringer, Andy Ashby, and the National League champion, MVP, hits his bat ball. Hit Sterling, hit Scott.